I know you won't get slow down till the no good funky knuckle groove. Baby, 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 that'll help for you. Yeah, it's most definitely on the roof.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jon Bahr, despite some popular opinion, not Jon Bahr, despite working with the Bahr brothers and the Slip for a little while. I got my start in the live music space. I worked at Newport Folk and Jazz Festival. I'm from Rhode Island. For the beginning, one summer, and Ted Curlin, booking agent, moved to New York and worked in the booking space. So I love being in the live space. Thanks to Pete and Brad for having me here. After 10 years at ASCAP, over 10 years, I joined CD Baby, and what I realized quickly was that CD Baby was way, way, way more than what I thought it was. We're, as you can see on the screen, a lot of brands. We like to service an artist across anywhere that we push out their music to the world, and there's a lot of monetization that happens that an artist doesn't capture. I'm going to take you through a couple brands that we have that are great for the live music space and great for really maximizing promotion of content, capturing content, and monetizing it. We took over a couple brands. AdRev, Dashco, and Audio Micro are some new properties we acquired that push us more in the B2B space. We service publishers now. We service major labels with marketing support in our Show.co brand. And I really want to take you through those because there's a lot of value in the live music space. Sounddrop is a great brand for jam bands and any live band. You can push out an entire tour of concert recordings for no money. It's completely free to distribute. The great thing in the jam band space is that cover song licensing is, we know bands love to cover songs. Pretty much people leave them on archive.org or YouTube, the places that they don't have to deal with the copyright aspect. We solve all those problems for you. You can push out a cover, and for a one-time fee of $9.99, we will handle the mechanical royalty in perpetuity. So that means that a Grateful Dead cover band can earn most all of the money on streaming, and the Grateful Dead will get their cut in the form of their publishing and mechanical, and you're not ripping off the Grateful Dead by the fact that you're actually earning 5 times the amount of money because the sound recording earns much more money. There's no reoccurring fees. A lot of people in the distribution space, in the turnkey DIY space, have annual fees. You pay, let's say you put out 30 shows a year, that accumulates over time, and having to pay $50 every year to keep that money, keep those songs on those streaming services is a huge expenditure as you get into it. We have no reoccurring fees on all of our models. CD Baby has no annual fee. Sounddrop has no annual fee. It's a real great way to capture your fans. There are a lot of jam bands that don't have any music or traction on streaming services, but we know that tons of people download their shows, and me personally, I don't really want to download shows anymore. I want to go to my favorite property, listen to them, save them, and re-experience them. The other thing is, and for the managers in the room, you can do auto splits. You can take a lot of the accounting off your plate, pay the band members directly, cut your lawyer in directly, your business manager, yourselves, because we can do split payments on any levels. You can give a merch person a percentage if you wanted to on a live experience. Something to really just take a lot of the administration off your plate. And one of the other brands, streaming tips. So once you push your music out there, never send somebody to a single. It's a complete dead end. You have the ability to control the experience these days. You can make a playlist of the things to grab people's attention, stick the single up front, and let the person spend all their time where the places where you want them to listen, the places you want them to monetize. Every stream these days is money in your pocket, so you might as well send somebody to a place where they're not going to stop. Listening a lot, everybody gravitates towards Spotify these days. The algorithm wants more music and takes that music and controls the experience. So putting out more music, putting out live concerts, on Valentine's Day, taking all those live concerts and putting out your love song compilation. You can push that out as a playlist, you can push that out as a new release, and really create and give the algorithm driving music back to your fans. A lot of people have their own patterns for listening, and for example, I save a lot of music, and when a new artist I already like, I make sure to follow them because Spotify's algorithm these days, Release Radar, Discover Weekly are massive. They say that of all the playlists on Spotify, I think there's 30-40% are those things that you can't pitch for. So these days, a lot of people like to pitch for Spotify playlists. Most popular playlists out there are the ones you can't pitch for. Release Radar and Discover Weekly. You can't pitch for those, but you can control the experience to make it so that your listeners or potential listeners do listen to it. And then engagement. So get a follower, not a listener. A lot of streaming traffic is all these big playlists and kind of nondescript playlists, and your song pops up. A lot of people actually don't know it's your song because they're just listening to a playlist, which is much more like radio experience. You want to get a follower so that they come back, and when you release more music, they drive people back into there. We have this property we acquired called Show.co. It's a great tool. This is another one that we're more in the B2B space on that people don't know about. But this is used by Network and Universal Marketing Department. And you can take an experience, and this is a YouTube video. It strips away all the YouTube buttons. You could layer over a follow on Spotify blockage, so you can force somebody to follow you just to watch a YouTube video that exists on YouTube, but your fans want to go where you want them to go. They'll drive them from social media or email list and really control and gain a fan. So if you use this page, this follow on Spotify button, you get a lot of information back from us that you can use on future campaigns. If you just sent somebody to Spotify, they're communicating with your fan from now on. Control your artist experience. So you can go to artist.spotify.com, get Spotify for Artists. It's tremendously valuable. Or you can go into our site, and you can get access through there. If your music ever lands on the wrong artist page, which happens a lot, on our website, you can log in and control that experience, get the right content on your page, get the wrong content off your page. And then what you get from that is you can control the artist pick, you can push out playlists, and you can get a lot more data. We actually at CD Baby pull in all the data from Spotify, Apple Music, and iTunes into our own reporting dashboard, so you don't need to go to 3 different websites to pull that. And some of this data you actually can't access on your own. The Spotify data is accessible on your own at Spotify as well. And oops, it's not going. Okay. So I also run publishing and licensing. Publishing is for most people, they glaze over. It's a confusing topic, so I left it for the last 2 minutes of this. Songs are things that can get recorded, and that is the differentiating factor on what royalties flow. So a song creates royalties for songwriters and publishers. A recording creates royalties for artists and labels. If you're your own label, you get all that money. Label royalties, sound recording royalties, pretty much they go out, your music goes out in the world, it comes right back to you. Publishing royalties, your music goes out in the world, money is generated and stays in places until you go and get it. So without a publisher, you are not going to get all your money. If you have joined a performing rights organization, you've done the first step, and the example here is a Spotify payment. Basically, this right here, publishing royalties on the bottom, half your money is through your PRO on a streaming service. That just means you're leaving the other half of your money in terms of publishing money if you're not having a publisher. Most all independent artists aspire to have a publishing deal and don't have one. I used to work at ASCAP, and I know many, many, many people who I'd say, who's your publisher? And they say ASCAP, which means they don't have a publisher, because ASCAP is not a publisher. It's a performing rights organization. So collect your money. We have a turnkey solution. Most people don't know it, but we are the biggest publisher in the world by number of songwriters, all 3 majors combined, and nearly double now. We have 150,000 songwriters using us for publishing. Our back end is Downtown Music Publishing. Their property is Song Trust, which is, I think, the best publisher around. They're the most future-forward thinking, and I work out of their New York office. So we also can publish people that we don't distribute. It's not available to the masses, but through me, you can definitely do it. Anything with traction, you should be collecting all your money. You're just not getting it all. Internationally, every single download you've ever sold or sale, there's 9 cents per song sitting in the country at which it was sold that you have definitely not gotten without a publisher. So these are the things to think about. I'm available at Jon, Jon, at cdbaby.com. Come find me, and thanks for having me.